You must believe, even in the hardest of times, if you started this for a reason, remind yourself your why. Remind yourself, why you got into it. You came in this to change lives, to help people out. And if you really come back to the core and you stop focusing about money, and it's like, I just want to help people, that should resonate back with you. And it's like, I'm lost. Okay, go back. Focus on what you're good at. Help people. So I think belief is the biggest tip. Like, always believe.
You're listening to the industry's leading business podcast for fitness owners and managers. This month's interviews are brought to you by our podcast partner, One Fit Stop. One Fit Stop provides scheduling, client management, programming, and payment collection tools that will set your business up for success. To find out more, go to onefitstop.com or click on the link in today's show notes. Hello to you all. Yes, we are back for another week of the show. And if you happen to be tuning in for the very first time, a warm welcome to the FBP family. I'm your host, Chantal Broderick, and I am pumped to share this week's episode with you all. This week, my special guest is Travis Jones. Travis is the founder and CEO of results-based training, RBT Gyms. And he's the co-founder, alongside his wife, Liv Jones, of Think Tank, Attain Digital, and if not now, then when? The topic for this week's discussion is why businesses fail and how to foolproof your fitness business. Now, specifically, we chat about some of the common reasons that fitness professionals don't make enough money to be successful. We chat about the hallmarks of a successful fitness business, foundations that we can put in place to build a successful fitness business, and we take a look at, for anyone that's established but perhaps struggling a little bit, how they can actually turn things around. And to finish off today, Travis shares his top 3 tips for foolproofing your fitness business. I do want to do a quick thank you to a good friend of the show, the Director of Fitness Education Online, Jono Petrohilos. Jono reached out to me just before Christmas and he said, "Hey, I've got a great recommendation for the show. Do you want me to introduce you?" And I said yes, because let me tell you, Jono was not wrong. He did have a great guest suggestion, and I am confident that you will love today's chat with Travis Jones. So Jono, a big thank you to you for the introduction to Travis. Okay, crew, so we're about to get started, but first I want to say thank you to this month's premier podcast partner. One Fit Stop's scheduling, client management, programming, and payment collection tools will set your business up for success. To find out more, go to onefitstop.com. We're diving straight into this week's interview with Travis Jones. And to start our chat, I asked Travis to tell us a little bit about his background and his experience in the industry. Here's what he had to say.
Well, I'm a gym rat, essentially. Like, for me, I'm a personal trainer. I love coaching people. I love changing lives. I love education on, increasing human potential. I've been in the fitness industry since I was 18. I'm 34 now. So 16 years, nearly half my life, I've been trying to optimize human potential, I guess. And, I was working as a franchisee in a big box gym for the first, I would say, 6 to 7 years inside the fitness industry. And I was doing one-on-one training, small group training, trying to become the best possible trainer I could be. It got to a point where I got sick and tired of, running under someone else's rules. I was working in Australia, then I went to Canada, and I worked in, Good Life gyms over there for a year, and I came back to Australia, and I'm like, enough is enough. I want to do it on my terms, and I wanted to create not just a training facility, I wanted to create a transformation facility where we could give nutrition support, community accountability, and strength and conditioning training that created body transformations. And that's when I started RBT Gyms. I moved into the gym my first year, and I lived there. I sold my car. I lived there with my dog Hercules, and from that, the first year was pretty hectic. And I can go into some marketing stuff soon. And yeah, it was just a bit of a grind. And from there, I opened the next gym and the next gym. And, after about 4 gyms in this semi-private environment, like a micro gym, I was doing all my own marketing, and people started to reach out saying, can you help me grow my business? And that's when, I guess Think Tank Australia was born. It was born out of necessity to help people stop struggling where I could see them struggling. And then we kept growing. I was doing all my own marketing still with me and my wife and a small team inside RBT. And essentially we tried to outsource the marketing, and no one could get us the leads that we needed or the cost per lead that we needed. So we created, out of that necessity again, essentially our own digital agency. So then we created Attain Digital, and now we do about 60 different businesses around the world. So we drive them 100 leads every single month. And as we kept growing, we wanted to get better results with our clients. So, I always wanted to have the ability to create an app and software where I could record, like the client could record nutrition, their programming, their feelings, their measurements. There could be a two-way interface communication, but it wasn't something that I wanted out there on the market. And we finally got to a place with RBT where we could fund it. So we have like 5 in-house developers, and we've grown over the last 18 months. And, each of our trainers manages about 60 clients. We have, I think about 5,000-6,000 end users on Keystone at the moment, tracking their daily nutrition, training, and results. It's a results performance app, and that's where the 4 companies have come from. They've all spun off the back end of growing RBT to the 21 locations and $8 million company there it is now. And we're looking to get to 50 gyms in Australia over the next 2 years.
Amazing. I want to thank you for explaining that, because I thought it was really important to give context as to how we've come about talking about this topic today, because I know that, there are so many people that already know you and know your brand and probably have worked with you. But for all of our global listeners, I think it's so important to just set that scene, because as I mentioned right up front, we are talking about a topic that so many fitness professionals face, so many fitness businesses and professionals. To be totally fair, they often don't last long in the industry. And I'm sure that you see that all the time. In your experience, Travis, why do you think that is?
Yeah, I don't know the actual stat. You probably know it, how long they stay in the industry. I think it used to be 9 months, but it's such a crazy stat. I guess when most people, I think they get sold the dream when they go through their certifications. And if you were in the US, I know that when I was in Canada, I was doing CanFit Pro and I was teaching. It was like a 48-hour course. It was 2 days. When I went and did my courses, it was a year-long course at TAFE. But I think with a industry that's so easy to get into, then it's also so easy to fall out of, because you get sold the dream, and it's like sold the world and get delivered an atlas, right? And I think that's the fitness industry in a nutshell. These companies sell the dream of living the either the laptop lifestyle or working your own hours and making all of the money, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, now I actually have to work hard, and I have to get up at 4:30 a.m. or 5 a.m. and there's split shifts involved, and no one wants to put in the time, I think, because they get sold this dream at the start. It's like the first 3, 4, 5 years as a fitness business, if you're a fitness business owner, it is a bit of a grind. You've got to put in the time. As Malcolm Gladwell says, like that 10,000 hour rule. You have to understand how to become a great trainer, how to deliver amazing results, and if you do that, then your cost per hour increases if you're a one-on-one trainer, or the amount of your hourly rate increases if you're a semi-private trainer, and more people will come to you because you get better results, with your clients. And then again, your hourly rate increases. And if you want, you can start cutting down your hours, and instead of working split shifts, you can just work one straight shift. And I honestly think that's the biggest churn. I think that, people don't understand. If you're not passionate about it, you're going to not stay inside this industry, because you just truly need to be passionate to be able to work the hours you work in the fitness industry and still study and still survive.
I completely agree with you, Travis, and I think that that so often the perception that we're given is that it's a 6-figure salary the second that you receive your certification, and we all know that's just not the case. So, in your experience, I mean, other than it being having to put in that grind and having to work hard, are there any other kind of common reasons that you think that personal trainers and fitness business owners don't make enough money to be successful and to stay in the industry?
Yeah, I guess like talking about the business side of things, like if you're a business owner, I think one of the biggest pitfalls is marketing. People don't have a barrier of entry into their business. And I say this all the time, I don't care who you are, you have to have some form of trial offer. I like paid trial offers personally, because then if you're doing paid marketing, it liquidates your ad spend and marketing becomes free. But it doesn't matter if you're Amazon or if you're Tony Robbins or if you're Baker's Delight selling bread. They have the samples out the front of the Baker's Delight. You sample it, you buy the loaf. And I think so many of us in the fitness industry that I see, they don't have some form of paid trial offer. And because of this, no one's out there essentially testing their services. It's like they don't understand how to market, to bring people in, to test them, to wow them with service and experience, to then sell them into some form of core offer. And what we call this is it's like an elegant business model or an ascension business model. And I think the more fitness business owners who have an ascension business model, they can have the resources to continually acquire clients as need and have sustainability and also clarity on their growth. So it's like, I need 12 leads. Out of 12 leads, I get 6 people into my intro, my trial offer. And out of those 6 people in my trial offer, I get 3 people into my core offer. Now you can have a very strategic point of view. It's like, if I know these numbers and I understand these numbers, I go, well, my end goal is 200 clients at $50 a week, and that gives me, so probably like $500,000 a year. All I need is, I need 800 leads over the year, and I need 400 people to try me out, and I need 200 people to stay with me with my core offer, and I've just made a $500,000 business. And it's breaking it down to how do you do that on a weekly basis. There's just not enough clarity as far as what their business model looks like, and then how to get people that foot in the door into their business.
Travis, without us going or me taking you too far off track, I just want to dive into that a little bit more, because you mentioned having a paid trial offer and you have a lot of experience in this area. In any paid trial offers that you have done for RBT in the past, or any clients that you've worked with, are there any real standout offers that have just gone gangbusters that you would recommend people check out, or is it individual to the business?
Honestly, guys, like anyone listening to this podcast, if you go to the RBT Gyms or Result-Based Training fan page, you can go into the ads, like current ads section that we're running right now. You can go look at my ads and you can see everything I run. I don't know if anyone knows that hack, but you can look at anyone's ads that they're running at any single time on Facebook if you go to their if you go to their Facebook page. So go check out my ads, rip them off, try them. I really don't mind. I want everyone to succeed. But I've run the same 28-day challenge for the last 7 years on Facebook. And, I know my numbers. It takes about 18 months to make $1 million fitness business. And those numbers are 80 leads per month, 40 people go into my trial offer, which is our 28-day challenge. We used to charge $97. It was $3 a day. So we called people up. It's like, we'll change your life. Help you drop 5 kilos for $3 a day. Do you have $3 a day? And of course they say yes. Right now we went to $197 and now we pushed it to $247. But we have a full-time sales team now. So if you're just yourself and you're just not the most confident in sales, do it for $97. The biggest thing you're looking at here is you want to liquidate the ad spend. So say it costs you $20 per lead. You want to sell 1 in 2 leads. So it's costing you $40 to acquire someone at $97. So now you're making money with your marketing, and your goal is to upsell 1 in 2 into a $50 to $70 to $80 a week sort of client. So we go 80 leads, 40 sales into our 28-day challenge. We keep 20 on the back end, which for us is actually $77 per week. And our business has about a 5% churn. So if you're losing 5% of your members on a monthly basis and you're actually gaining 20 members every single month, in 18 months, you get to 240 members. And if you're averaging $65 per week, you're averaging, $1 million business. And that's actually how easy it is. There's seasonal offers you can run. Like currently, a lot of people aren't marketing inside Christmas. So, you need to make a bit of a sexier offer. Otherwise, everyone will say to you right now, I'll just wait till the new year. So we're running a 56-day challenge right now, and it's 71% off. So as of January 1st, it flicks back into a 28-day challenge pretty much for the same price. So we're still making our sales coming through inside December, because we always have the upsells, because you're always going to have about a 5% churn of your business. So it's understanding that. Or if we need a quick bump in our member numbers, so our direct debit, we'll run something like a 16-week challenge. Now, people thinking right now, they might be thinking, oh, I'm not a challenge-based business. I don't believe in that. Well, what I want you to think is you're competing with skinny teas, lemon detoxes, slimming worlds. That's where the marketplace is at if you're a weight loss or body transformation specialist. Now, yes, there's stretch specialists and there's, powerlifting specialists. But when we're looking at the general public, when I would say that 80 to 90% of personal trainers are in that, that's who you're competing against. So you have to be where the market is at and then get them into your business, and then you educate them and empower them from that. So we'll promote a 28-day challenge. We aren't about quick fixes, but we know that that's what gets someone in the door. They come in the door, we educate them then. It's like, you're going to be losing about 0.5% of body fat a week. We get them on our in-body scanner. They understand they have to lose over 10% body fat. They understand it's a minimum 20-week journey. And then we sell them into the long-term lifestyle transformation. But we'd never get them in the door if we're going to tell them, hey guys, it's going to take you've got to sleep 49 hours a week, and you've got to train 4 days a week, and you've got to have progressive overload, and we have to have you in a calorie deficit, making sure you're eating the right macronutrients. Like, it's just not sexy.
As Travis was just talking through all of those numbers, you will have heard that they just rolled off his tongue without even a breath in between. And my question to all of you right now as you're listening is, can you relay your marketing figures and your lead figures and your turnover in exactly that way that Travis just did? Does it come to you with that much knowledge and that much skill and that much ease that you know your numbers inside out? Because if you don't, and if you can't speak about your business in that way, then I would suggest that's an area that you need to spend some more time on and you need to invest in a lot more. And Travis, I'm going to take you up on your offer for us all to go and stalk your Facebook page, and I'm going to make it super easy for everyone and put a direct link in the show notes so that they can all go and have a look at your advertising. So thank you for talking us through that. So let's actually get back to our topic when we're talking about, the reasons that businesses fail, and most importantly, how to foolproof your business, because we had a bit of a chat about some of the common reasons that fitness professionals and owners don't make enough money. But let's look at the flip side. What would you say are some of the hallmarks of a successful fitness business?
Consistent lead generation, we sort of just covered just then. Like, for me, when I first started out at RBT, so many people right now are focusing on Facebook ads, Instagram ads. Before that it was Google ads, and it was blogging before that. It was like there's YouTube ads and stuff like that right now. It doesn't have to be, online. You don't have to hide behind a computer. We're in a human element, our business. It's not B2C, it's not B2B, it's H to H, it's human to human interaction. I think that's what people are missing out. Like, stop hiding behind your computers. I built RBT to a $500,000 business in the first 3 or 4 months, not by Facebook advertising. This was pre-Facebook ads. I built it there because I used to walk up to 100 people every single week in the park. And that's, I built a boot camp in Canada to 100K in 4 weeks. And how I did it, this is before I understood marketing as well as I could. And this is how I built my one-on-one business when I was inside the big box gyms. I had a survey. I walked up to people and I asked them 3 questions. If they answered those 3 questions, they won 2 weeks of PT, or they won 28 days worth of personal training. And all I knew is I was great at what I did, and if someone could trial me out, I knew I'd keep half of them. So you have to ask yourself, can you get 3 leads every single day? And for me, it was I walked up to people in the park around the corner of South Melbourne, my first gym, and I knew if I walked up to 100 people every single week, 80 of them would tell me to get lost, and 20 of them would say, yes, I'll take you up on your offer. And they answered the questions. They took the 28 days worth of personal training for free, and I knew I'd keep 10. And just by doing that alone, I would get 120 ongoing sales a year. And that would get me that sort of $500,000 business without referrals and all the rest of it on the back end. So you don't need Facebook ads. You just need to get outside of your comfort zone. You just need to get 3 leads a day, whether that be walking up to businesses, walking up to people. And it can be Facebook ads and Instagram ads as well. But if you don't have consistent lead generation, get that. That is step number 1. Step number 2, which is a hallmark, is you have to understand what sales truly is. Sales is you're a problem solver. And I think this is the biggest thing that most people sort of fall at. They're like, oh, I don't like sales, or sales is evil, because they have this, negative feeling to money. They think money is evil because we grow up thinking that. That's what we're taught as kids. But if you change it, if you reframe what sales is to yourself, if sales is purely just a problem solver, and all you need to do is when you get those 3 leads every single day, you need to problem solve for them. This is where you are. This is where you need to be. This is exactly what you need to do. Like, lay it out for them. Exactly what you need to do to get to where you want to be. This is how you do it. Now, you've problem solved for them. And then you can ask them the question, do you want to do it by yourself or do you want to do it with me? Because with me, you're more likely to achieve it, but you can also do it by yourself. And then that's a problem solver. And you gave them the solution, and then it's up to them to decide, do you want to do it together? And it's getting over your fear of rejection. It's having some form of confidence. When I first started in the fitness industry, I was probably the most unconfident person, but I think, time under the tools of trying to sell people to change their life has changed you to go, you know what? Like, I'm a problem solver. I help people get to their potential in life. And I think that's number 2. Number 3 is, it's trying to be the best at what you do. You can't just start out in the fitness industry because you can only sell, crap once. Like, they'll go, okay, this person, doesn't sell results, or they don't even understand how to give me certainty on how to get results. And whether that's being muscle gain, fat loss, increased flexibility, increased strength, whatever you're selling, you need to give your clients a clear roadmap, which means you personally need to get educated every single quarter. You need to, I always tell people, like, try and read a book a week. If you can't read a book a week, at least read 10 pages every single day. If you read 10 pages every day, that's 18 books a year. In 5 years, you're 100 books deep on your topic, and you're a specialist in your craft that is just basically spitting out results. And if you can do those 3 things, consistent lead generation, reframe sales to problem solving, and become an expert at your craft, like that's the pinnacle of how the hallmarks of getting a great business.
I love what you said, Travis, in regards to thinking about the mindset that how we approach our business, that we're not B2C, we're not B2B, we're H to H, that human to human connection. At the end of the day, that's what we do, isn't it? All comes back down to that. That's one of the biggest reasons that we're even in the fitness industry. And thank you for stepping us through those hallmarks of a successful fitness business. Now, I think that you've probably largely answered this question, but just in case there's anything else that we want to layer into this, if we were to have a look at 2 different scenarios, one is I have just graduated as a personal trainer. I want to set up my fitness business for the very first time. I'm starting from absolute scratch. What are the foundations that I should put in place from day one to build a successful fitness business? And then part 2 is, what about for anyone that is already established, but perhaps they're struggling? How can they turn things around? So in addition to those fantastic tips that you've just given us, is there anything that you would layer on or add to that?
Yeah, I definitely would. I guess someone just starting out in the fitness industry, you don't really have your style down pat right now. So I would test, do I want to do one-on-one? Do I want to do group training? Do I want to do semi-private training? It's understanding the intricacies in between the 3 of them, or you want to do maybe all 3 of them. Do I want to train females? Do I want to train, menopausal females? Do I want to train men? Do I want to train over 40 men? It's like really trying to understand your niche. Like, who do you love working with? This is what I wish when I first started. Someone helped me found my niche, and, Pareto's principle rolls true. 20% of everyone you train pays you 80% of your money, especially as a personal trainer. So it's not just about money. Also, 20% of the people you train gives you 80% of the fulfillment. So if you can go, and you might not know this right now, just starting out, like, I would train a broad spectrum, for the first 3 months. It's like, I'm going to train someone who's a mom, someone who's over 40, a male, a female. I'm going to train a young female, a young male. It's like, who do I get the most fulfillment from? And then I would find that out, and then it's like, okay, then with this marketplace, who in these marketplaces are going to give me the ability to get clients to give me the lifestyle, essentially the remuneration, the money in the bank, that's going to give me the lifestyle that I want as well. So coupling those 2 together, it's like, great. Now I know my niche market. I know where they are. I know their fears. I know what they want. I know what, that keeps them up at night. I know everything they want, everything they need. And now I can specifically talk to them. And then I would get a bunch of testimonials if I was in there. So that'd be my first month. And I would go now start like getting beta testers. And you could do this paid or you could do this free. I really wouldn't care if it was paid or free. I was like, I'm looking at, if I pick females and they're 25 to 30, I'm looking for 10 females who are 25 to 30 who I can train for the next 30 days to help them drop 5 kilos and get in the best shape of their life. And all I need from you is a testimonial. And that's what I would do. For me, I did this starting out in online like 5 years ago before marketing, and I got 100 females starting. And then to go into month 2, they referred another person. I went to 200. And by 6 months, I had 5,000 people on this online program paying me $10 a month through this exact method. I was making $50,000 a month online, not knowing any paid marketing whatsoever, but just letting people test it, refer someone in, and then they start paying. So if you can understand your marketplace and then give them, again, a foot in the door. So if you want to get some, testimonials, and these testimonials can be video, these testimonials can be before and afters over those 28 days or 30 days or whatever it is you're getting to be a beta tester for. And then at the end of that 28 days, you post those 5 photos on your social media again. And you're like, hey, I'm taking on the next 5 or I'm taking on the next 10. And you start to take on 10 to 20 every single month. Like that's the snowball effect. That's the momentum. It's constantly having these people come in and trial your services. And as you get better and people start to see you as an authority because you get better and better results, it's not a free trial. It's a paid trial now, just like we did at RBT for $97. And then as you get better again, it's like now it's a higher paid trial because you're better at sales. You're more of an authority in the marketplace. And this is momentum. It's really understanding who you want to train. It's really understanding, essentially, are they the right person to pay you money? And then speaking, am I going to do this in a one-on-one, semi-private, or group training environment? And if you don't know which one, test them out and see which one gives you the most fulfillment. And that's my biggest recommendation to someone starting out. Someone that's already in the industry, it's like, you guys, success leaves clues. I think that's the biggest thing. Success leaves clues. So if you are currently doing $200,000 and you want to do $1 million, it's find someone. It's just like you. If say that your clients are like 15 kilos overweight, they could research and Google and all the rest of it on how to lose those 15 kilos, or they can hire a personal trainer and they can get the accountability. They can get all the crap like cut away, and they give just do this. If you just do this, you'll lose the 15 kilos. So again, it's the 20% that gives them the 80% of the results. That's what a coach does. It tells you exactly what to focus on. So just like a personal trainer helps someone wanting to lose weight, like a coach who's already created that $1 million business. And I wouldn't get a coach who hasn't created it. Like, find someone who's really done it, and they can give you the clarity. This is what you do each day to go from 200K to 400K to 600K to $1 million. This is your daily disciplines. This is how you get the lead generation. And if you find someone, because the first 100 or 200,000 is finding your feet and finding your passion, finding your fulfillment. And from there, it switches from hustle, it switches from grind to smarts. It switches to, let's start to work smarter. Let's to actually go, okay, I have deliberate actions I must do on a daily basis. I need to understand my cost per lead. I need to understand what my cash flow is. I need to understand what my churn is. I need to understand leadership, team development. I need to get a better customer experience so I can increase my margins. And a coach essentially can give you the insights on what your numbers mean. And if you can start to track your numbers for those people who have been in it for a while, every number tells you a story. It's just like success leaves clues. If you're looking for a coach or a mentor, your numbers, if you can't get 80 leads at a moment each month, it's like, okay, well, that story is you need to learn marketing. If you're not upselling 50% of your leads into some form of offer, it's okay, that story tells me that you need to get better at sales and problem solving. If you've got higher than a 5% cancellation on a monthly basis, that story tells me you need to increase your customer experience. If you have essentially higher than 10% suspensions, that story tells me you need to increase your systems to make sure people are staying. If you're churning through your staff, well, that story tells me you aren't giving them a vision on how they look at, long-term with your company, because every number tells a story. It's just understanding if you're not looking at the numbers, you just really don't know what to manage.
That second part is so important, Travis, and I want to thank you for breaking it down so clearly. And so just to reiterate to everyone that's listening at the moment, because I'm very aware that it's quite often our owners and our managers and our trainers that have been in business for 1, 2, maybe 3 years that have been struggling and just feeling as though they're trying everything under the sun to make the business successful. Quite often it's at that point where they're just going, okay, I've either got to do something or I've got to get out. So I really like your advice on analysing the business, having a look at the stories, as you say, that your business is telling you. And once you've identified the areas that you need to work on, then you need to narrow down your focus and just absolutely nail those areas. So thank you for talking us through and just breaking that down so succinctly. To finish off with today, Travis, can you leave us with your top tips for foolproofing your fitness business?
I think the first thing is you have to have belief. I've coached people in the past and they've done so well. And then, I stopped coaching them. And a year later, I was talking to one of the guys last night. Last November, he was doing like 50,000 a month. And this November, he did 20,000. I'm like, what happened, man? Like, what happened? He goes, I stopped marketing. I'm like, okay, what else happened? He's like, well, I didn't have a coach. And I started doing, random stuff. And okay, what else happened? He's like, I just don't believe in myself anymore. Those 3 things in itself, right? Like, accountability is crucial. They've done studies. If you write your goals down, you are 60% more likely to achieve your goals. And if you have accountability on those goals, you are 95% more likely to achieve those goals. So please, I have belief tattooed on my hand. For me, belief is everything. Like, the entrepreneur must be the eternal optimist. Like, you are going to have obstacles, you are going to have roadblocks, but you made the decision, even up against the odds. There's a 96% chance of failure. Only 2% of entrepreneurs make $1 million. Like, the odds are stacked against you, yet you still chose to start a business. You must believe, even in the hardest of times, if you started this for a reason, remind yourself your why. Remind yourself, why you got into it. You came in this to change lives, to help people out. And if you really come back to the core and you stop focusing about money, and it's like, I just want to help people, that should resonate back with you. And it's like, oh, I'm lost. Okay, go back. Focus on what you're good at. Help people. So I think belief is the biggest tip. Like, always believe. Number 2 is get clarity on how to win the day. I think so many business owners, they end up falling into procrastination. When there's a book called Flow, I'm not going to say the author's name because I literally can't. But the flow is like, it goes from, your challenge of the task versus your expertise in the task. If your expertise is so high and the challenge is low, you get bored. And you procrastinate. So with tasks that bore you and you're great at them, you need to start to outsource them, or you procrastinate. So will your business. And when the task is too hard and your skill level is too low, then you'll get anxiety and you procrastinate as well. So you either need to find someone to help educate you on that task, whether it be marketing or sales or team development or leadership, to increase yourself into flow so you don't procrastinate and move forward. But you need to really understand, what is flow for me? And how can I win the day? And with fitness business owners, if you're trying to grow that, $200K, $1 million business, whatever you're trying to grow, you can go, every day, I need 3 leads a day. Every day, I need to make 1 sale a day. Every day, I need to reach out to 1 customer. And I need to give them an above and beyond service, a wow moment. You're literally surprising them with an act of service or a gift, or whether it be a meal plan, or you're sending them some flowers or a protein bar, or whatever you do, I don't care. But wow someone every single day of your life. And if you do those 3 things, if you wow someone, if you get 3 leads, if you make 1 sale, that's how you win the day. So belief. Winning the day is the second thing you have to do, and know what it means to win the day for yourself. And I think the third thing is, you want to pat yourself on the back. So long, I was, where you start a business and you're starting this business because you're a goal-orientated person. That's what fitness business owners are, and most business owners are as well. So for me, when I wanted 1 gym, when I got 1 gym, I wanted 4. And before I got 4, I wanted 8. Now before I got 8, I wanted 12. And then I wanted 20. And, for a couple of years there, I was sort of living through unfulfilled days. I would wake up every single day feeling like a failure. I would wake up every single day feeling pretty much kind of depressed, and I wasn't achieving what I was supposed to be setting out to achieve. And it's because I never stopped. And A mentor told me this a while ago, and he said this is the void of unfulfillment. Your goals are like the horizon, and you're running towards them. And as you're running towards your goals as achievers, we never get to the horizon. We just continue to shift the goalposts. And if we never stop and look back over our shoulder and congratulate ourselves on what we've achieved, we'll start to feel unfulfilled, and we'll start to feel like we're a bit of a loser. So every 90 days, I want you to sit there. I want you to reflect. And I want you to go, you know what, like it might not be new clients, but it might be optimizing your process. You pat yourself on the back and it's like, you know what, I'm working 5 hours less a week right now and focusing that more on education because I tightened up my systems. Or you go, you know what, I'm making extra $1,000 a week now because I understood marketing over the last 90 days. And you pat yourself on the back, you give yourself a reward and you move forward. So I think those are the 3 tips. It's belief, it's understanding how to win the day, and it's congratulating yourself that, yeah, like you're doing this and the journey is fun. Like that's where you have to love the journey. The outcome, with whether it be stepping on stage, like it's a fleeting moments, right? The $1 million business, you crack $1 million, all of a sudden, confetti doesn't fall from the roof and you've done it and it stops there. No, like the excitement is waking up every day, knowing you're living life on your terms, knowing that you're changing lives, and knowing that you are living in the time that is the best ever because you have the ability to change everyone's life.
Travis, you mentioned in there the word mentor, and I'm fascinated to know who have been your most impactful mentors in your career.
Yeah, it's a hard one. Like there's a guy called, I guess when I was 14 years old, I had a guy called Tony Merrick, and he has one fitness business over in Perth. And it wasn't like a business mentor, but I was wanting to play rugby league growing up. And, I played for state in Emerging States Australia. And, I had an off-season contract in Canberra. And, at the end of the off-season, I got meningococcal, randomly when I was sharing drink bottles on the footy field. I flatlined 4 times, kidney failure. And I never moved forward with rugby league. And I went back to Perth. And Tony said to me, it's like, mate, your life's not over, it's just starting. And I started in the fitness industry then. And I think that was such a pivotal moment for myself. It's like every obstacle, your life isn't over. It's just starting. It really doesn't matter what age that is. And that's a pivotal moment, a mentor for me. And he got me into working at Fitness First when I was 18 years old. And, the next mentor, I guess, would be, the education mentors would be the Paul Checks and the Charles Poliquins, or the late Charles Poliquin, and, making sure I, did the interns with Gary Gray, and it's trying to become the best possible coach. And then from there, I remember starting my fitness business, and there was a guy called, I don't think he does coaching anymore, he had a mastermind in the States, and, whoever could rep his blog the best won a year of mentoring and got into his mastermind. His name was Chris McCombs in the States. And, I didn't have the money, and whoever could rep his blog the best, well, they won it. So over 30 days, everyone was doing this crazy stuff. And I went down to the tattoo parlor and I tattooed his website across my back, across the back of my shoulder. Yeah, crazy. Everyone's like, I thought this was a good podcast. Now I know I'm talking to a crazy person. But I tattooed his website across the back of my shoulder, and, I won a year, and I met some, yeah. It's crazy. But then from him, I started to learn a bit more social media and marketing and blogging. And I was inside essentially his mastermind. I met some of my best mates who also, we get to mentor each other, like Paul Morton, Luca, and, Steve Krebs. And, I was in there with Bill Phillips and Sean Phillips, and I was in there with Jay Ferrugia. I was in this mastermind, and, I was like, okay, cool. It's constantly striving to be the dumbest person in the room. And I needed to get better at sales. So I would jump into a mastermind with Kevin Nations, who was teaching sales $50,000 US, to jump in on that. And then I wanted to learn more about Facebook advertising. So I went to the best in Facebook. It was Donald Wilson back then, a couple 6 years ago. I jumped in his mastermind for $30,000. And then I was like, okay, I wanted to be surrounded by better people. So I jumped to the Genius Network, and that was $35,000. I'm in mastermind with Robin Sharma, and I'm in there with Brendan Bashard. And I was sitting there with these guys looking at what they were doing at building successful $1 million businesses. So I kept jumping from mastermind to mastermind because my goal in life is to always be the dumbest person in the room. And when I feel like I get to the higher in that room and I'm not the dumbest person anymore, it's time for me to find a new room. a new room for me to, become humble again and learn again and understand that what I know is really nothing and it's time to learn even more. And I think, I rattle off a bunch of names today, but some of my best mentors have been the books. I try and read a book a week. I have my time where I spend 45 minutes a day of making sure I gather the education I need, because, educational knowledge and then applied knowledge, that's power. And it gives me the power to change more lives, increase the ability to help people with human potential, which is, what I love. And, I feel like I'm scratching the surface personally with what I'm capable of on this earth. And I can't wait for the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years in business.
Travis, it's been such a pleasure talking to you and listening to your story and hearing the passion, not only in the words that you say, but the passion in your voice. It's clear that you are so authentic and in this for all the right reasons. And it's a real pleasure for me to have the opportunity to speak to you. So I want to thank you for taking this time today. Travis, I'm going to put all of your contact details in the show notes today. Make sure that we check out your Facebook page and everything that you do in the industry. So thank you so much for taking the time today, for sharing your experience with all of the FBP family. And thank you.
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. I love talking on podcasts because I love imparting any type of wisdom, if I can, to help other fit pros achieve more and be more.
And one last thing, when you just said, I love talking on podcasts, there's something very important that everyone should know, because you have your own podcast coming out soon. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm launching the Travis Jones podcast. I couldn't think of a name, so I just call it myself. Now with that, basically it'll give you the insights. RBT is currently doing, 8 figures. We're doing about $12 million a year right now. So it's behind the scenes, and each week we'll essentially delve into the marketing, we'll delve into the frustrations of the sales, the team development, the leadership. You'll start to see exactly what it takes to not only build obviously a $12 million business, but for me is, 21 locations. It's 21 micro gyms, and we'll go in behind the scenes of opening up a gym. How do we get the leads? How do we get the sales? How do we find the team members? How do we recruit? We'll go behind the scenes into how do we give customer experience and how do we get results? And why do we get results? So we'll go into, the frustrations, the highs and the lows, and, how sometimes you feel like you get punched in the face and what happens when you do feel like you get punched in the face in business. So I wanted to be a bit vulnerable. It's passionate. I'm a passionate human being. I wanted to cut through some of the fluff so people can, and it's a narrative type approach. So it's not an interview format where I'm interviewing other people on their successes. It's really just behind the scenes of my insights and my life on a weekly basis on how I'm building this and how others can too.
Well, Travis, having had the opportunity to speak to you today and learn more about your business and what you do, I'm really looking forward to tuning into your show. So we will make sure that as soon as you launch, that we also put a link in the show notes as well so people can check that out. So Travis, thank you once again for joining us today. MyZone is a wearable technology platform that leverages personal goal setting, gamification, and social platforms to motivate your members. To find out more, go to myzone.org.
Precore Quickfire 5.
This week's Precore Quickfire 5 guest is the king of sales and New York Times best-selling author, Jeffrey Gitomer. As you'll hear, we did Jeffrey's interview on audio and on video. So if you do want to check out the video version, make sure that you head to our YouTube page. Just go to YouTube and type in Fitness Business Podcast and you can watch the interview right there. Enjoy this week's Precore Quickfire 5. A very warm welcome. Good afternoon, Jeffrey. Thank you for joining us on the Fitness Business Podcast.
Good afternoon to you as well.
Now, we are going to kick things off, Jeffrey, with a Precore Quickfire 5. So do you want to start off by telling everyone, why do you do what you do?
I do what I do for a reason that very few people have. I love what I do. And I do it now since I've been doing it for so long. It started out as a vocation. It's now a legacy. So I continue to build my legacy on a daily basis. And by writing and by videos and by podcasts, it helps me enhance it. I already have, thousands and thousands of hours recorded. So my stuff will live on after me, But I think it's important to stay current, because if I rest on my laurels, then someone else will come over and pick my flowers. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And are there any rituals that help you become better at what you do?
Yeah, there are. You want to know what they are?
Yes, please.
Oh, cool. Ask a yes or no question. Get a yes or no.
It's my fault. I take
Okay.
that. I take that.
Okay. For the past 25 years, I wake up every morning and I do 5 things, or some of those 5 things.
Mm-hmm.
I read, I write, I prepare, and that causes me to think and create. So in the past 25 years, I have delivered 2,500 corporate seminars, written 15 books, have thousands, millions of downloads and followers, all from reading, writing, preparing, thinking, creating. 100%.
That's an amazing ritual. And can I ask you, what are you reading right now?
You can, but it wouldn't be fair. I'm reading A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway, and I normally don't read novels. I normally read nonfiction.
Ah, interesting.
But we were just in Key West, and I'm so inspired by Hemingway's quote of "Write drunk, edit sober."
Write drunk, edit sober.
Yeah, but I don't think he did either. I think he wrote sober and edited sober.
Edited sober.
He wrote until noon each day, and then I think he went off on a binge.
Yeah, I haven't tried that.
Yeah, but the bottom line is he wrote arguably the most famous novels in American literature, and I just went to his home, or one of his homes in Key West, Florida, and it was inspirational.
Wow!
I got to see his writing studio. Come on, what's cooler than that?
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't get better motivation than that to
no way.
Do. Incredible.
So I decided I was going to read a little bit more of him.
Great motivation. And Jeffrey,
He also, by the way, one other thing I should tell you, every great writer wrote a book on how to write. You can read Ernest Hemingway's How I Write Books. You can read Stephen King. You can read Ayn Rand. You can, everyone has a thing on how they write. As do I. I have the little green book of Getting Your Way, and in there is how I write.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that extra bit of information. And what's an app or a system that you might use to stay in control of your workload?
I don't use anything. I have people who stick a text up my butt on a regular basis. Because if I played with my calendar on it, I'm not allowed to enter anything on my calendar.
Oh, is that right?
Because I screw it up. So I text Stacy, who you probably connected with in some way or another, and she updates and does everything. I'm a writer, a speaker, and a salesman. If I do anything other than that, I screw it up.
Good reason. And what's a book or a podcast or a blog that you would recommend, and why?
I would recommend Sell or Die, which is our podcast. And the reason I would recommend it is, having listened to many other podcasts on the internet on our subject, sales or personal development, no one comes close. And so if your audience is really looking for something that they can grasp onto that will help them with daily sales, or will help them with daily personal development, or just plain fun, then Sell or Die is the podcast. We just passed 1 million downloads.
I know. Congratulations.
Isn't that amazing?
Huge.
We had a cake. We had everything. So
I did see the celebration photos. So congratulations to you and Jennifer on that. That's absolutely phenomenal. And as a matter of fact, I completely agree, and I highly recommend that the FBP family go and check out the Sell or Die podcast. And Jeffrey, I was actually listening to an episode. It was towards the end of last year, and there was a fantastic conversation. I apologize because I can't remember who it was with. There was this great conversation that you guys were having, and it was someone talking about how business is like fitness, in that you can't expect to start working out and get results immediately from one workout or from 24 hours of workout.
Yeah.
You need
It was Martin Rooney, most likely.
Right, yeah. So you need to invest every single day, learn a little bit, do a little bit, move a little bit, and made that kind of connection between business is exactly the same. And I just loved that kind of
when people ask me how did I get to where I am, I tell them that I got there overnight. I worked my ass off for 20 years and then boom, I was a success.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. Now, our last question is normally what topic are we going to focus on during the main interview? But I know that we're just waiting for those questions to arrive in front of you. And as we discussed, you can probably pop your latest book up on the screen for me, right? Oh, look at that. How's that for timing? That's
my latest book is The Sales Manifesto. But the book we're going to discuss today is Truthful Living, a book that I didn't actually write all the content. The content was written by Napoleon Hill 100 years ago. My job was to edit and annotate the writing and bring it into the 21st century, which I did. But I should tell you also, just parenthetically, I didn't change any of Hill's words. I'm not, that wasn't my purpose in doing this. I wrote an introduction to each chapter so people could understand what they were about to read. And then if there were things in the middle that I had to sort of clarify, I did it, but in a different type. And then at the end, I wrote how to put this into your life. So those annotations are mine, but the actual words in all of the lessons are Hill's.
And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about during the main interview next week.
Sure.
And just tell me quickly, when did Sales Manifesto come out?
The Sales Manifesto came out January 1st. The Napoleon Hill writing was finished at the end of October, came out at the end of October. And it was published by Amazon Publishing, which is the largest publisher in the world now. They're the largest everything in the world. They just happen to be the largest publisher as well.
They do indeed.
Yeah, parenthetically, I'm expecting the drones to arrive with all the arrows in the Amazon.
Do a drop. I wonder if they come all the way to Australia.
They can send a drone to Australia. It just takes a little longer to get there.
Takes a little bit longer to get over the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Jeffrey, that wraps up our pre-call Quickfire 5. Quick question. Have you registered for the FBP Family Meetup at URSA 2019? If not, then jump online and do it today because you're all invited along to our meetup on Wednesday, March the 13th at 6 a.m. If you're not familiar with our meetup walks, this is an active networking event. We walk and we talk for 45 minutes and we return back to the main entrance of the Marriott Marquis San Diego Marina by 6:50 a.m. The meetup is free and it is the best way to start your day. We do need to know attendance numbers, so please jump over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, go to the top of the page and click on the tab called Meetup. Then register your details for the URSA walk. If you need any more information, please email me directly at chantal@fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Before we finish off today, a reminder that all the resources and the links for today's show can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. As we come to the end of another show, I want to thank our foundation partner, Active Management. I need more leads, is what many fitness business owners say. Let Active Management help turn your About Us page on your website into a lead generating machine. Download your free checklist at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active. Thank you all for joining me for another week of the show. I will see you next week. And remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.